Hi. Now, if you ask me why do this, why make videos about books? Honestly, if I was getting paid to do my job, uh, if I could get the money that I was paid doing my job, doing these videos, I would drop everything for this. I love reading books. They kept me company. I struggled with making friends. So one of the few activities that I indulged myself with was reading books. So welcome. As the title of this channel, welcome to Sip That Book. Now, if I'm gonna do these reviews, I'm gonna miss a lot of important things. In fact, it's important and better if you read the book and came back to it. So I look at this as more like educating myself than anything else. I'm thinking if I can do this for the next 10 years, how much of that knowledge would impact my life into wealth making? Now I've got one of the flagships in acquiring riches here, and that is the book by Robert Kiyosaki. That is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now I'm just gonna go over, or if you like, I'm just gonna sip into the book. Now, I just wanna give you a few questions, or just one more important question. If say you've got a source of income, if you were to be terminated from your job, how many years would you be able to live without running out? I'm going to leave you with that question and you're going to answer it yourself. Right, now the important thing here that I'm going to stress about is I'm going to be more on definitions than anything else. If you answered that question quickly, if I were to be cut off from my job, the next 30 days I would be without money, to be honest. So I am caught up in a process or in a practice of a red race. Now I'm going to talk about a red race. What is a red race? Now, the term itself, it's more like a term that comes from experiments. You know, whenever scientists try to come up with cures for people, they always go first for animals and do their experiments on animals. And this experiment of red race comes from an experiment which was done where the rat was chasing the cheese. So, and it's trapped in a way. It's tricked to chase this cheese. Or in a better sense, we're talking here about economics. How can one become rich? Now, in becoming rich, there are processes or there are practices that one has to indulge in. Now, one of the first things that you need to rid yourself of is being caught up in a hole of red race. Red race, I would explain it as more like a treadmill of your financial acquisitions. If you were in a pursuit of trying to get money, I'd look at it as more like you're running in a treadmill. What happens when you run in a treadmill? You get nothing, actually. It is more like an unsuccessful pursuit of successes. If you caught up in a rat race, the ways you can see. You could be having loans, having credit cards that you cannot pay back, or you're struggling to pay back, and those are the don'ts. One of the worst ways to start off to your pursuit of financial independence is being caught up in the loans. I look at loans as more like holes in your financial boat. They get you nowhere. And with me being one who was once caught up in this red race, I know if you've got a loan, you are stuck. You are stuck in a big, big hole. So, number one, when you're rich, by definition, you are successfully out of red race. Now, let us define wealth. What do we mean by wealth? What is to be wealthy? What is to be rich? To be rich, Buckminster once said, to be rich is your ability to survive many days going forward. So it is your ability to survive without running out of money. In my case, to be rich, if I run out of money in a couple of days, it means my wealth is a couple of days long. For someone who's got billions, it could be the lifetime, or it could be like decades long. They can live, they can thrive and have everything they want without running out. So those people are rich. So that is wealth. Or if you want to be smart, you could say to be rich is more like it's a measure of the cash flow from the asset columns compared to the expense column. This is the money that we get from your assets versus the money that you take out into your expenses. Right. Now, which brings us to another question of asset and liability. What are we talking about when we're talking about assets? Now, one thing I like about Robert is that he simplified these things. So I'm not going to get into deep about them. Let's just simplify these things. Assets bring money into your pocket, and liabilities take money out of your pocket. It is just that simple. Now, with this knowledge, how can one be rich? You need to consult this. We've got a tendency of wanting to learn many things before we take practice into them. If you wanted to play golf, you'd first have a couple of practice sessions before you go into an actual match. Just like games and other skills, to be rich, you need to invest in your financial education. You cannot be rich if you do not invest in your financial education. You need to be financially literate. That is number one. And number two, you need to know the difference between assets and liabilities. Simple as that. That brings us to the end of episode 1 of Sip That Book. These practices, you're not gonna get, you're not gonna fare well in your financial acquisitions if you do not do the reading yourself. So I challenge you to pick up these books and see what they can do for you, because I'm starting to see some profound changes in my life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm your reviewer, Njabulo Diko.